Hello, everyone. Just been jamming. Who likes this song? New money, suit and tie. I could read you like a magazine. Hello, it's Diabetic Danica, and I'm starting a few minutes early. So I am just going to quickly tweet and Facebook this link if I can find it, and then we can get started. So let me just find the link so that I can put it out there. And then, like I said, we'll get started. Okay, I can't do two things at once, so I'm just gonna do this real quick. So there's the link. Let me go to my Facebook. How are you guys doing? It's been a while since I did a live stream, I must say. But I always have a lot of fun in them, and hopefully some people are free and can come hang out and ask questions and hear me ramble about nothing. That would be good. So I'll start talking about actual things as soon as I post the link. I'm live. Post. All right, Facebook is done. Now on to Twitter. I've just been studying today, so it's been a really uneventful day. So I figured, actually first I slept in really, really late, and then I've just been studying and cleaning my room and unpacking. But I figured I deserved a study break. So the study break is this. All right. Come ask questions. So I have officially tweeted it as well. Tweeted it is really hard to say. Tweeted it. Okay. So I think we're good to go. Hopefully. Hopefully. All right. So, hey, for real this time, let me go back to the previous page so I can see what's going on. So, it's kind of dark. Hope you can see me. Things are going well. I just started back at school, and so it's been kind of crazy. My flight was rescheduled 5 different times to get back to school because it kept getting delayed or the plane was breaking. And so it was just a struggle to get back here, but I'm officially back. So Christmas was awesome though. Like, I got to see so many of my old friends, and I just really, really enjoyed just hanging out with people that I hadn't seen in a really long time, not only since school started, but some people I hadn't seen for like years, and I got to catch up with them. So that was really cool. And yeah, I mean, nothing diabetes-wise really went wrong on the flights at all. So that was really good. But I guess, well, on the way to home, I don't know, you guys probably heard that my luggage was lost. I had a connecting flight and it didn't make the connection. I barely made the connection. I was so happy I did because it was like, I think it was supposed to be an hour connection. We got there late, and so I like had to rush and like board the plane right away. So my luggage didn't make it, and all my diabetes supplies were in my backpack. So yay, I didn't have to go without insulin because that would be bad. So that was really good. And then the way back, luckily, I mean, my luggage wasn't the problem that time. It was just all the plane delays. So diabetes-wise, it was great. Feet-wise, it was not, because my feet were so tired. This has nothing to do with diabetes, but my feet were so tired because I had to stand in line for hours and hours and hours just to reschedule my flight. And the line literally, it had moved, like it had been like an hour, and we'd moved about halfway through the line. So anyway, I finally got back to school after all that, got a flight that wasn't canceled, and I got here at like 6:40 in the morning or something, and I was supposed to have class at 8. They delayed it till noon. So yay for me. I got to sleep like 4 hours, or 3. Anyway, not diabetes related at all. Let's talk about diabetes, shall we? So since coming back to school, it's been fine, diabetes, blood sugar wise. I haven't had a lot of lows, haven't had a terrible amount of highs. I'm high right now, but whatever. I already gave insulin, and I have my handy dandy water right here. With the, this is not a product placement, but hey, Asante Snap. Look at that. I got that from when I was in the advisory board, the diabetes advisory board that I talked about for that new pump. So I got one of those. I just love drinking out of these kind of cups. I have one that has my school name on it too. And I like them because it keeps it like cold, and it's like better than a water bottle, I feel like. Because it has a nice straw. I don't know. I just like it more than cups and more than water bottles when I'm in my apartment. Yeah, that was irrelevant. What else was I going to say about diabetes? Oh, okay, so the first day of clinical, this semester in nursing school, I have started a pediatric clinical, and I'm super excited because I want to work with kids. And so we had our first real day yesterday, and it was so good. I was nervous because I like, playing with kids, obviously, but I've never done anything medical with kids before, really. I mean, yeah, basically not. So I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I actually really, really, really enjoyed it. So I think it's going to be a nice semester because this semester I heard was the most difficult, and so I think it'll help having a really fun clinical. But anyway, the point was, on Thursday, my first clinical, my battery died in my pump. And usually it's like, I usually wait until it dies all the way, even though it'll alarm when it's on 1 bar. I usually wait till it dies fully because I want to get the most out of that battery, because the batteries don't last very long. And even when it dies in the pump, I find the battery still has enough juice to be used in other things. So the pump just takes a lot of juice, so it can't use it, even though if it has more juice in it. Does that make any sense? I'm talking really fast. Slow down. My point is, the pump needs a battery that's really strong. So it'll kick out this battery. It's like, nope, it's too low, but really it'll work in other stuff still. So anyway, I tried to run it down to the last minute. And so it came up with the alarm, like, your pump is dead right now. Change the battery right now. We're not gonna do anything until you change the battery. And it also alarms. It alarms every couple minutes. And it's like, you're not gonna get insulin, blah, blah, blah. So obviously, like, I'm in clinical orientation, and so there's like 6 of us and a teacher, and the teacher's talking. So I discreetly try to like reach in my backpack and get my little coin, because it has to have a coin to open it. I don't know if you guys know, or if you can even see that. That thing right there. You have to use a coin to open it. And anyway, so I started to do that, and it literally stripped the coin thing. Like, the plastic is so soft that when I tried to turn it, like imagine a screw, it stripped the plastic and I couldn't turn it and open it. And so I was trying with like all different sizes of coins, all different sizes of keys, and I was like trying to do it at the same time that the teacher was talking. And then eventually there was kind of a lull, and I was like, does anybody have a quarter so I can try to open the battery pack on my insulin pump? So my teacher did have a quarter, and they were all like kind of worried as I explained to them what was going on. And I tried the quarter, and it didn't work because it was so stripped. And my friend was just kind of like, I guess that's why you have injections, like why you have syringes with you, right? Like, don't you have syringes with you, type of thing? And I was like, yeah, I do have that. So it was fine in that regard. I had extra insulin, I had syringes. But then I was like, this pump is useless. And right now I don't have a prescription for long-acting insulin. So I would have to call my endocrinologist, have them, fax over a prescription for Lantus, and otherwise I'd have to Otherwise I'd have to get up every 2 hours and give insulin that's short-acting. But long story short, after going the whole clinical day, well, it was actually only a couple hours. It was probably like 3 or 4 hours that I didn't have insulin going, and this thing was alarming every couple minutes. It does this beautiful thing where it's like, and it like goes up really, really high, and just when you think the alarm's over, it goes up a little bit higher, and then it goes like, it's really great sounding, not annoying at all. And I kept doing that, and then I basically just went through the day, and I was checking my Dexcom to see if I was kind of creeping up so I could give a shot if I had to. Didn't have to do that. I was actually really stable the whole time because it takes a bit for the no insulin to kick in. And then for lunch, I gave a shot, and then I got home and I found pliers. Thank the Lord for pliers. I used pliers, and I just shoved it here, and I turned it, and it came right off. So at the end, it was an easy fix, but this is still stripped. So the next time I have to get this battery pack off, I'll have to use pliers again. So I think my mom's gonna order me a new cap, and then it'll be fine, hopefully. But that was kind of scary because I thought I was gonna have to have them overnight me a pump and like wake up every 2 hours to give short-acting insulin overnight, and just crazy, crazy stuff. So anyway, that is my story from this week of almost having a catastrophe. But let's go see if you have written any questions. All right, there are some questions. Let's see. So Queen Bea 795, maybe Queen B, been a type 1 for years, but sugar and weight is out of control. Any suggestions how to get it back on track? So, I mean, I think, so I'm going to focus, well, I don't know what I'm going to focus on. I mean, I'm not an expert on like weight loss or anything, but like a diabetic is just a person, right? Like people to lose weight, need to exercise regularly, and they need to look at what they eat. Like, that's just how it works. And if you're really, really concerned, like if you've tried exercising regularly and you've tried portion control and like eating a balanced meal, I don't think like extreme diets are always the best thing. I think it's really great if you just look at what you're eating, add vegetables, add fruits, and if you're eating large amounts of stuff, just cut those amounts a little bit lower. But again, I'm not a medical professional in any way, and so if you're very concerned, you can actually get a dietitian consult, and the dietitian can talk to you about specific areas that you need to focus on for your food and like what specifically you can do for your specific situation. For blood sugar, I think one thing that really helps blood sugar control is just checking your blood sugar a lot. A lot of people won't check their blood sugar because they don't like the numbers that they see, but the more you're checking, the more information that you get, and the more information that you get, the more you can correct for that. Like, if I never knew I was 300, I would never give insulin, but since I'm checking consistently, I probably will catch it before I hit 300 usually because I'm checking consistently. Like, I'll catch it at 230 or something, like 230, not 2:30 o'clock. And then I can give insulin then. So just, that's one like quote unquote easy, it's not easy, but one thing that you can try to just, that way you're more on top of what's going on with your blood sugars, and then being willing to change stuff. If the doctor has said that like, you know how to change stuff and like you feel like you have a handle on how to adjust doses and stuff, I find that I do that a lot because I don't know, I hesitate to give, I don't want to give medical advice because I'm not a medical professional, but like I don't hesitate to change my basal doses, for instance, because I know how, and because if I waited to change basal till I got to my endocrinologist, my numbers would be crazy. I need to change it before then because there's 3 months of time where I'm kind of just there. But if you do have a question and you're not sure how to adjust doses, you can always call. You can always call your diabetes educator and ask about that. So just check your blood sugar a lot and don't be afraid to make changes as long as you know how, and feel free to consult with your doctor. So those are some general tips, I know, but that's what I'm going to show you about that. Robert Holmes asked, where did I go? I'm guessing you're referring to the story I was just telling. I just went home for Christmas and then I came back to school. Duncan 1 Mar says, what are you sitting at? I was 11.9 before lunch. Let me quickly Google what 11.9 is. 11.9 millimoles per liter, 2 milligrams per deciliter. So I know what you're saying. And then I can also tell you in your version what I'm sitting at. Oh, I don't like this kind of chart. 11.9 is 234. Okay. I was just 271 actually, which is not my favorite. But I did have IOB insulin on board, so I'm about 15 millimoles per liter. So quite high at the moment. But maybe this live stream will get me down. Not in like an attitude way, but in a blood sugar kind of way. So yeah. Let's see. Duncan One-Mar also asks, when do you get the Animus vibe? I don't know. They just sent me the transfer form. So I filled that out about, what's it called, transfer? That doesn't sound like the right word. The exchange form. The form I fill out to trade-in form, to trade in this pump for the vibe. And I just filled that out. So I think everything's pretty much underway. Dexcom also called me, but I think it was because a while ago I emailed them to get a new receiver. It's over there, but my button fell off again. Okay, question. If you have the Dexcom, does your button fall off a lot? This is the second time it's happened to me. And basically, like, there's no fix. Like, the plastic breaks, and I have to get another one. And I really don't like that. They need to, like, step up their game on the plastic. But anyway, that happened, and so I tried to order another one just by emailing them. And then the Animus 5 was approved, and I was like, never mind. But I hadn't heard about, I hadn't heard from them about the receiver, so I just kind of forgot about it. And they called me, and they were like, oh, we want to set up that new receiver. We're contacting your insurance, blah, 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 blah. We'll get the ball rolling. And I was like, oh, no, I don't want that anymore. So I called them back, and I missed them. I had to leave a message, and they called me back. They had to leave a message, and they said that basically, what did they say? They said something about how, oh, you're getting the Animus 5, but we still need to approve it by insurance and, like, send you a transmitter. It was weird. I'm so confused. You don't get a transmitter from Dexcom and a pump from Animus, right? Doesn't it come in the same box? And can't I use the transmitter I already have? Questions I have, but I didn't talk to the rep yet. I'm going to talk to him in a couple days. he said he'll call back after insurance approves it. So we'll see what they say. I'm kind of confused about that because I currently have a very well working transmitter. I really don't need another one. But hopefully I'll get it sometime in the next couple months. I heard they start shipping out in January. I think the only people that have them in the US right now are reps for Animus, like people they have partnerships with that are doing like trials of it. So the real ones I don't think have gone out yet. So yeah. Vossi1 said, do you have problems with middle of the night lows? Currently, no. Have I ever? Yeah, definitely all the time. Not all the time, but it just depends. Like when I first came to nursing school, my schedule changed completely and I had a lot of night lows. But luckily, I used to always wake up for lows no matter what, which I think is an awesome thing that your body does. Your body's like, hey, you're low, wake up, eat some food. But right before I got the Dexcom, I started going really low and not waking up until I was really low. Like I wouldn't wake up at 70 or 60. I woke up once at 29 in the middle of the night and I was like, shoot, dude. So I got the Dexcom and luckily it alarms for me. And so that's been really helpful with nighttime lows because I'm like less scared I'll not wake up, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm a really light sleeper. So I definitely wake up. The Dexcoms vibrate. I have it on vibrate. The Dexcoms vibrate so freaking loud. Sometimes if I'm in a quiet room and it goes off, I literally jump because it scares me. That's how loud it is. So yeah, I also had a lot of middle of the night lows when I played basketball in high school, but we had this system where, you know, games are at night and like the adrenaline would make my blood sugar go up and then it could drop like up to 7 hours later. So I would usually do negative 20% basal for 2 hours. That was my personal thing that would work. And then my dad worked a night shift, so he would check me when he got home from work and make sure I was okay. Because that was the time before I had the Dexcom. So yeah, and like I was saying earlier, if you're able to adjust your doses and you know how, you can always do that. You can add a snack before bed. I did that for a long time. But like ask your doctor, ask your team if you have consistent middle of the night lows that you're not sure how to fix. So yeah. John Dodd says, can I have your autograph? Oh, sure. Let me write it down for you. Are you ready? I'm not going to write my real name. I'm going to write my diabetic Danica name, which I guess is my real name. Danica is my name. Okay, ready? Let's make it pretty. Diabetic. Oh, we got to add hearts, right? Every good girl autograph has hearts. Are you ready? Wait, I can't even see the screen. I'm watching the wrong one. I'm watching the delayed one. Okay. There you go. It's backwards for you. There's your autograph. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, let's go back to the questions. Back to the questions. Martin Lorca says, I just got home from my first diabetic camp. Yay! I love diabetes camp. Diabetes camp is beige niche. Yeah. John L says, what do you think? Oh wait, that's the wrong question. But that's okay. We'll still answer that one. I'll go back to the other one I meant to do. What do you think about the Dexcom? Earlier, excuse me, it seemed like you were having issues with it, i.e. showing different BG than your remote meter. I wasn't really having issues with it. I mean, it's never perfect. I never expected it to be perfect. I know that it's a different number than my BG meter. It's more for trends. It's more for an about number. Sorry, I need to drink because my blood sugar is a little bit high. But because I don't know if you know this, but the blood sugar check is from your blood, obviously. The insulin pump, the Dexcom receiver is in your interstitial fluid in your fat, and so it's going to be a different number. The blood is more accurate because it's directly from the blood. Interstitial fluid can be delayed. Like for instance, after I'm low, my Dexcom won't really know at first. It won't know for a while. I think it takes a while for that sugar to get to the interstitial fluid and be like, hey, you're not low anymore. So yeah, but no, I love the Dexcom. Like I've never used another one, but I've heard that people have done comparisons and they find it's the most accurate. And even though it's not always perfect, I think it's the closest you can get. And it's caught my lows and highs many a time. So I like it a lot. Elise Bishop says, I check like 20 times a day and my strips ran out so fast. And today I thought I was out. Thank goodness I found some more. Ever had this scare? Oh my goodness, girl, you just described my entire life in like 2 sentences. I always cut it way too close. I just have so much going on in my life that like it's hard to realize when you don't have any more. And so I try to, when I take out my last little, it's not called a cartridge, thing of strips, I try to set out the box somewhere that I'll see it. So I'll be like, oh, I need more of those, I need more of those. But I usually wait and I usually forget, and then it gets really down to it and I'm like, I don't have any more strips. And I look, and sometimes, thankfully, I have like kind of hidden one somewhere where it's like somewhere I didn't expect, like maybe I have an extra checker and it's in there, or like it's in my purse or something, and I'm like, yahoo, I'm not out, I can reorder. But there's been a couple times where it's gotten really close. One time in undergrad, I used my last strip. Literally, I used it, and then I was finally able to get my test strips like right after that, and I thought I wasn't going to be able to. And then once when I was here, I think I had to go like a half day without them. This is horrible. Like, I wish I didn't do this, but it just ends up happening a lot. And I got down to it, and yeah, I like had to rely on my Dexcom for like half a day, which was not what I wanted to do. So actually, though, I've recently switched to, I get my strips from Walgreens, and I've recently switched to online ordering, like online refills, and this has been so helpful for me because it's easy for me to order. And so I think it's, before I had to call in, which is not hard, but it takes more time. And so since I can just do it online, I found that it's helping me to be more on top of it and not wait as long, and so then I don't run out. So it's really nice, but I've definitely experienced that. So yeah. Healthy Diabetic says, hi, I love your videos so much. You inspired me to make my own videos. Well, thank you. That's awesome. I will have to check out your videos once you start posting, or maybe you already have. Anna Marshall says, how many times do you check your BG? Depends on the day. I always say between 4 and 10 times a day, 4 and 10, because it's guaranteed I'll check it before breakfast, lunch, dinner, and bed. That's like a guarantee. And then if I have a question during the day, like if my Dexcom alarms says I'm high or low, I'll check. So that could be a couple extra. If I am going to do something particular, like maybe I'm going to drive and I haven't checked in a while, I'll check. If I'm going for a run, I'll check, you know, stuff like that. Like, or if I just go low, you know. So it can run anywhere from that to that. Sometimes it's even more than that. If I go low a lot, it could be like 15 times a day. So the bare minimum is 4, but I also have my Dexcom I'm looking at. So yeah. Anyway. John L. says, do you adjust your basal rate, carb insulin ratio very much? I do. Like I was saying, I guess I already said this, but I don't wait by any means to go to my endo to adjust stuff. I know how to do it, so I just do. Like, I don't do it for anything. Like, I'm high one time, I'm not going to adjust it. But if I've noticed a trend, like specifically, I keep using words that like aren't relevant. If I'm consistently high at the same time every day, I'll adjust my basal. Or if I notice I'm going low every night, I'll adjust my basal. Or if I get one number that's just like nothing caused it, like there's no reason for me to go high right now. So if I make sure that my set and my insulin and everything's good, then I might adjust for that. Especially nighttime is really helpful, because if you're with the Dexcom, at least, because the Dexcom, it's like going good, and then randomly at like 4 a.m. it does like this for no reason, you're like, oh, I need more insulin at that time. Adjust, adjust, adjust. And with basal, for me, I want to adjust 3 hours before it happens, because that's how long it takes my insulin to kind of work in my body. And so I'll change the dose 3 hours before, and I usually just go one step at a time. I'll just go up one dose amount, which I think is like 0.025 units, I think, which is a small amount, but I'm on pretty small basals. So for me, that works. And if it doesn't work, I'll just keep going up. So yeah, and obviously down if I'm low a lot. So yeah. Let's see, what else? Tiffany says, hi, Dee. Hi, Tiffany. You guys have watched some videos with her. Tiffany is here. Say hi to her in the comments. Rebecca Ellsworth says, any ideas of a good name for a pink pump? So far, I like Pancreas and Piglet. Pancreas. I never thought of that. That's really funny. I have had Piglet before, but I called it Pinglet because it was the animus Ping. But Pancreas, I think, is a freaking winner. Like, why would you even look for more names than that? But if you want to leave a name for Rebecca for her pink pump in the comments, that'd be cool. You guys can think of some. I mean, I can't think of any. I have trouble thinking of pup names for myself now because I've just now had kind of a lot. So I think I named this one Fancy Pants or something, like accidentally. That's like just the first thing that popped in my head, and I was like, great, sounds awesome. So, yeah. Lily Sayuki says, what is your favorite thing to eat or drink to treat a hypo? Low blood sugar. I like, if I have juice, I like that a lot. Usually orange juice tastes really good when I'm low, and also when I'm not low. But if I just brush my teeth, then that's not going to be a brush thing. So I try to do that. But usually I don't have orange juice. So I always have Capri Suns, which I actually don't really like the taste of. I more just suck them down. But the thing that tastes amazing, always, is Nutella. But it's a bad idea to eat this when you're low unless you're really, really good at like portion control, like not going for a second spoonful, because it's just so good, and so it's a million times better when you're low and then you just want to eat the whole tub. So it's a dangerous game, but anything chocolate tastes awesome. But usually, since juice is the fastest, I definitely prefer juice the majority of the time. So yeah. Martin Lorca says, how do you change your Lantus dose to the pump basal rate? I'm getting my pump soon. Your diabetes team at your clinic or hospital or whatever should help you with all of that. Like I was in like 8th grade and I don't remember, honestly, and I don't think we were meant to figure it out. I think that they kind of figured out where you should start, and then for the first, I don't remember how long. It's either a week or like 3 days. You check your blood sugar every 2 hours, which sucks, but you have to, because then you can see where your basals should be at and they will help you adjust. And then once you got your general, like this is my general basal rate that works for me, then from there you can kind of like fine tune it. So they should help you with all of that. And if they don't, just ask them. So Ashton Gerard says, I play ice hockey. I just started the pump 4 months ago. I take it off when on the ice. Is this a good idea? I think everyone's probably different, but for me, I played basketball and I tried to take my pump off for games because I was like, I don't need it, right? Because I'm exercising. But I found that when I did that, no insulin at all in my body makes my blood sugar spike like crazy. I think it's almost like it panics. It's like, there's no insulin here, and it like shoots to the sky. But when I kept my pump on and I just had it on a very, very small amount of basal, it was better for me. So I would do usually like -70 to -80%. So I was only getting like 20 to 30% of my insulin. And that worked really good for me. I would still go high during the game just because of the adrenaline, but I wouldn't go crazy high. And then hours later, I would go low. So that's how we did it. And then also do negative basal later when I went to bed, like I said earlier, but just not very much negatives, like -20%, just so I wouldn't go low. So for me personally, I could not take off my pump for sports. It was huge spikes. But I've heard of people doing it. So it just depends. I had a little pouch that I wore under my spandex shorts to keep it safe, and I fell on it. I bumped into people, and it never hurt anybody else, and it never broke. And it never hurt me. So it's up to you, of course, but for me personally, I could not take it off. So yeah. Let me read some more questions. John Alt, there's a lot of Johns here, BT Dubs. I feel like I said the word John a lot. Hi, Danica. So I was diagnosed, as a type 1 diabetic back in July, and so far I'm still in this honeymoon phase. Though my blood sugar is very controlled, and I'd say they're basically normal. I'm starting to think, did I get misdiagnosed? So my question is, does the honeymoon make your blood sugars return to normal, and how long does this phase last? So I'm a little bit confused by your question because I can't tell if you mean that you're not taking any insulin and they're normal, or you're just saying they're normal now that you're on some insulin. I think it is, again, I'm not a medical professional, but I think it is I don't know if normal is the right word, but like it does happen where it's kind of like, okay, so it's an autoimmune response, right? So your immune system is killing your beta cells, but all cells regenerate. And so it's my understanding, at least, that they continue to regenerate, but your body continues to kill them off. So maybe your body, this is just all speculation, but maybe your body killed them off. And so then you didn't have insulin in your body as much or at all. And so your blood sugar went up, but then maybe they regenerated and the immune response didn't kick in right away. Speculation again, but whatever. And so they went back down. I just know during the honeymoon phase, like you're on not very much insulin because your body is still producing insulin. Like that's the main thing of the honeymoon phase. And that's why it's easier to control your blood sugars, or harder depending on if it's very variable. But so yeah, I think it could be normal. How long does it last? It's different for everyone. I heard the honeymoon phase can last up to, I actually don't know up to. I think it's around like a year at the most, I want to say, but I mean, there's got to be outliers who have had it last a long time. It just depends. But yeah, I hope that kind of answered your question. Again, I don't know specifics yet about that, but that's my understanding, if that helps at all. Ashton Gerard says, what do you consider crazy high? 350, 400? Yeah. Once I get to 300s or above, I consider that crazy high. Even 280s, I'm not a big fan of, obviously. 270 is like borderline crazy high. It's like mentally unstable high. Just kidding. What was I saying? That was the stupidest joke I ever made. Oh yeah, so like 300s, 400s is crazy high. If it's 400, I like start to freak out a little bit. Not literally, but I'm like, how did this happen? 300s, I'm not too thrilled about. But yeah, that was a weird rant. Okay, I feel like there's a question I wanted to answer up here, and I haven't got there yet. I mean, I have got there. Oh, Charlotte Tuohi. Do you tell your professors you're a diabetic? I haven't in the past, but end of last semester I went really low, 48, and had to leave the room and felt rude but didn't have time to explain. Okay, so my first professor of college and undergrad, I did tell my professor, and I thought of what I wanted to say. I did. I'm pretty sure I did. But when I got up there, I felt like there wasn't a lot to say. And like as I was telling her about it, I kind of realized like, why am I telling her this? You know, because like in my college at least, like you could eat in class. You could leave to go to the bathroom whenever you wanted. Like it's not high school. So I was kind of telling her like, oh, I'm type 1 diabetic. Like I may need to eat in class. It should be fine. I might have to get up and leave, blah, blah, blah. And like I just realized like these are things I can do anyway. Like anyone in class can do this. And obviously like if I passed out, what would I tell her to do? I could teach her about glucagon, but she should also call 911. And what would she do anyway? Call 911. So it's like I stopped telling people after that, but I do see how it could be helpful for them to know for exams, because that's one time when you're not supposed to eat and when you're not supposed to get up and leave. But I personally didn't. What I did is I just made sure that my blood sugar was good before every exam. And this actually worked for me for all of undergrad and nursing school so far. I just really stay on top of it. And if I think I'm going low, I'll eat, or I'll do a negative basal, and I'll just make sure that I'm not. Except once. So this worked for me the whole time, except for one time where I was cramming. I was studying so much. And when I study a lot, I go low. And so I went low right before, and I literally did not remember which room the test was in, which building, which classroom. I like couldn't find it. So luckily my friend was with me, and luckily he was driving me there because he was in the test too. But like usually I walked to class. Like I couldn't have walked. I was so low. And I had already eaten and I wasn't low anymore, but my brain still just wasn't coming back. I just did not feel good. And I didn't even talk to him in the car. I felt so rude. But I like started to try to put in effort to a conversation, but I don't know if you're like me, but when I'm low, it's very hard for me to put effort into a conversation. And I just didn't. I just kind of sat there and I couldn't find the classroom, and then he showed me where it was. But luckily by the time the test started, I was fully back. My brain was kicking. I think I got an A on that test. So if you do want to tell them for like exams and stuff, that could be a good idea. You can even get special accommodation for exams where they'll let you like sit in a separate room so that if you go low or something, you can get more time. So that could be something you might want to utilize. But for me, I just didn't think it was worth it. But it kind of depends on your preference, like everything, right? Let's see. Let me go back to where I was. Martin Lorca says, just checked my sugar 3 hours after dinner and I was 170. Do you correct when you're like high but not enough to just be really sure you need to correct? So basically I think you're asking me, if you're not crazy high, do you still correct? I personally do, because I have an insulin pump, so it's not an extra shot, and I have a Dexcom, so if I go low, I'll know. Especially 3 hours after dinner, for me, all my IOB should be done, and if I'm 170, I'm gonna stay at 170 or I'm gonna go up. So of course I need to give some more insulin. I like to be closer to 100, flat. So I would definitely give insulin for that. I give insulin even if I'm 140, 150, because non-diabetics don't really go up higher than 140 at the max. And so if I'm up there, I'll give insulin because I'm like, a non-diabetic would not be this high right now. I need to be down lower to be healthy. So that's what I would do personally. Beyond Dancer XO says, my honeymoon was legit non-existent. I'm sorry for you, Beyond Dancer XO. See, there you go. That just shows the variability. Like, some people have their honeymoon period for a long time, and some people don't get one, unfortunately. So, yeah. Beyond Dancer XO also said, I'm low all the time because I take separate pills. What should I do? I would talk to your doctor. That is a doctor question. I don't know if you're type 1, if you're type 2. Yeah, I don't take any oral pills. So I would definitely, if you're literally low all the time, that's not good for your body. Call your diabetes team, go in for an appointment, something where they can help adjust things, because you should not be low all the time. So Anna Marshall says, when you're high, how much water do you drink? How much water do I drink when I'm high? I usually force myself to drink water because it helps. Usually I down it quickly, but I'm talking, so I'm not. But I mean, I'll drink at least one of these. If I'm really high, I'll drink 2. Even in the middle of the night, it's the weirdest thing. Anybody else, please tell me in the comments if this happens to you. If I am high in the middle of the night and I just give insulin and go back to bed, it doesn't come down. I'll have to get up again when my alarm for my Dexcom goes off again, and I'll check my IOB, give any extra insulin I might need, and then if I drink one of these bad boys, then I come down. It's the weirdest thing. In the day, I'll come down. It's interesting. Anyway, Duncan One Mar says, I may have asked you this before, but what's the highest number you ever been? He has been 542. The highest I've ever been is high. Literally, my meter said, hey, what's up? High, HI, which I think is above, it's above 600 or 700, and that's might have happened, it's happened once for sure, maybe twice. A long time ago, though. I don't even remember the circumstances around it. And obviously, that was before I had Dexcom or anything. I might have been sick. I don't know. Yeah. And so I think I checked ketones, gave insulin, checked my blood sugar a lot until it came down. So yeah, because that's a dangerous ground. If you keep it up there, you're going to end up with DKA. So you really got to attack it right away. I think I probably gave a shot. I was on the pump, so I gave a shot for sure, because I'm like, something's wrong with the pump probably. And drank water and relaxed and all of that good stuff. Captain Grizzly said, do you ever dream about eating a ton of food and wake up with a low blood sugar? Every time I dream this, my sugar is low and it wakes me up. Mando said others have told him the same thing. I don't think I have, honestly, but that's awesome. And yeah, I just like that. That's funny. But I wonder, when you're high, do you dream of getting an insulin shot? Probably not. That's cool though, especially that it wakes you up. Beyond Dancer XO, again, she's responding to what I said earlier. She said, I'm low all the time because I take separate pills that my diabetes doctors don't really know about. What should I do? I would tell your diabetes doctors what you're taking. I'm in nursing school right now, and it's very, very important for doctors and nurses to get a full history on you, and that includes medicines that you're taking, that includes vitamins even, that includes herbal supplements. So many things interact with so many other things. Like, it can interact with the meds you're taking, it can interact with your medical conditions, it can interact with everything. And so if they don't know, they can't help you. So I would definitely tell them so they can adjust things accordingly. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh, this is a fun question. Godin Not says, what is the most you have bolused for a meal? I don't even know. A lot. I'm on a 1 to 10 ratio. So like especially around Thanksgiving time and Christmas time, I can bolus like 15 for a meal. Because when you get all those carbs on your plate, plus you have sparkling cider, which is like, I don't know, like 30 grams for one little glass, it adds up. Like I'm already at 10, just the plate alone, 10 units, plus 3 more units for the drink. And if I have another glass, that's 3 more. So I've definitely had some hefty boluses. Probably my biggest, I don't know, maybe 15, maybe more. But those are rare. Those aren't all the time. So yeah. Oh, I also forgot to mention, I also wear, back to the, I was just reading a question again about the telling your professors in school. I also wear a diabetes alert bracelet. So I figured if anything happened where I passed out, which I never have, but if I did, they would call 911, which is what I want them to do anyway, and they would be able to see I was diabetic. So that's another random thing. Yeah. Jade Wakefield says, do you take the clip off your pump when you sleep? Or just leave it be? And also, does your pump clip tend to chip the paint off of it? I cannot leave my clip on when I sleep. I don't know why. It just makes it bigger, and I don't like it. And I don't know, sometimes I roll over my pump, and when the clip's off, it's really not that big. It's not pokey. You know, it's very soft. But if it has this on it, it's just a lot bigger. And I don't keep it clipped to my pants when I sleep. I just lay my pump right beside me in the bed. I just let it chill. And I'm not really a crazy sleeper, so I just kind of roll around it, or it just hangs out. That's what I do. Because otherwise, when I roll over, I'll definitely roll on it if it's clipped to the side of me. But otherwise, I can roll over it if it's just free in the bed. So yeah. Wow, these questions are coming in fairly quickly. I like when I have more people come to these things. It's easier to keep going. Yeah, it's even going so fast I can't even see the question I was looking at. Yay! That's exciting. Gaudin Not says, what is the best explanation you have for a non-diabetic on how hypo feels? I just describe the symptoms usually. I don't try to like paint them a picture or anything. Like, imagine that you have just ran a marathon and you're so tired. Like, I don't go that far. I'm just like, you get shaky, you get really weak, it's hard to think, you get really hungry, you might sweat a lot, stuff like that. Just things that they know. I don't know. That's not a very exciting answer, but that's kind of just what I tell them. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. If they ask questions, I'll answer them, but that's about it. Healthy Diabetic says, I am getting ready to take the SAT. Did you have any special accommodations when you took it? I personally did not, but that was just me. You definitely can get special accommodations, because how much would it be awful if you went low in the middle of that and you know, messed up the test, or you had to leave and have it thrown out. So that'd be bad. I guess I just, like I said, with regular exams, I just really make sure that my blood sugars are good before I go in. And they also give you breaks. At least I got breaks where you can leave the classroom. And so I would make sure my blood sugar was good, and I could eat a snack then, or I could drink water then, stuff like that. But if you feel like it'd be more relaxing, less stressful for you to get accommodations, just do it. You'll get more time. If you go low, you'll have more time. So yeah. Don't be like scared to get them if you feel like you need them. It's fine. Just do it. Lynette Hazard says, did you notify your residential advisor, your RA, in your dorm, just in case you have a medical emergency? Our son will be entering college this coming August, and I wonder, should others know he is type 1? So for this, we did do that. My mom and I did tell the RA in my dorm my freshman year. I only lived in the dorms my freshman year. Now I live in apartments. But we did tell them, because that's like, I don't know. I feel like it was more important there because that's where you live. You know, that's where you are overnight. And if they found you passed out, I think it'd be more helpful for them to know that you're diabetic. And they're the ones that like right there on your floor with you, and they want to get to know you and stuff. So we did tell her, and it was crazy because it turns out that okay, this is not diabetes related, but my RA, it turned out she lived back home a block, on the same block as me, like a block away. And she was really good friends with my friend Tiffany, who you guys have seen. And it was crazy small world. So anyway, she was great, and she learned about it. I think we even showed her the glucagon shot, and we just told her, if anything happens, call 911. Here's the shot if you feel comfortable, but 911 will also walk you through it, or you can just wait till they get there. So we did kind of explain to her just so she would know. But yeah. Cass Bell says, I hate these questions. Oh, I found out you're diabetic. How much sugar did you eat as a kid? I don't want to sound like a broken record over and over again explaining how it all works. Any advice? Love you. I love you too. Honestly, you're going to get that question. And it used to really annoy me a lot. But now I just try to use it as an educational time where I can teach them about it. I mean, how detailed I'll go really depends on my tiredness level, my annoyance level, and just all kinds of factors. But I will repeat the same thing just because people honestly don't know. Like before I was diabetic, I didn't know. So I just explain, if they say, how much sugar did you eat as a kid? I'm just like, actually, you don't get it from eating too much sugar. It's an autoimmune disease. Your immune system attacks your pancreas, and the cells that make insulin don't make insulin anymore. So I literally make no insulin. So I get my insulin artificially through an insulin pump, and I have to check my blood sugar and count the carbs in my food. And if they're like, oh, so you can't have sugar, I'm like, no, I don't monitor the carbs in my food. I don't lessen them. I just count them. So if I have a certain amount, I just know how much I had. So yeah. I'll usually explain the difference between type 1 and type 2, and I end up sounding like a broken record, but not to that one person. And I feel like if I can educate this one person, then the next diabetic they meet, guess what? They're not going to annoy that diabetic because I was the one that was annoyed and told them. So the next time they went to someone and found out they were diabetic, they would not say, oh, so you had so much sugar as a kid, why did you do that? They'll say, oh yeah, Danica told me. It's not from eating too much sugar, blah, 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 blah. So I figure it'll help them in future interactions, so I give them a little help on that. So yeah. Beyond Dancer XO says, I am single and I feel like when love interests find out I'm diabetic, they will treat me different. What should I do? I have talked about this in a video before, but it is my personal view that if somebody is not going to be with you because you're diabetic, or they're going to treat you different because you're diabetic, I don't think that person is worth it. Like, the real person for you, the person who is going to accept you no matter what, is the person that you want to be with. And so I think it's a great weeding out tool, because if you think someone's awesome, right, but maybe they're putting on a little bit of a show, they're just trying to be really awesome, and then, you lay this down and you're like, hey, I wanted to let you know I'm type 1 diabetic, like blah, 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 this is what I do. And if it changes things, and if they're weird, or if they say, like, I'm not sure I want to be in this relationship because of this, that is a giant red flag, sirens, alarms, like, this person is not a keeper. Just because, what kind of person is like that? Like, really? Because of the medical condition I can't control, it's going to change our dynamic, and, like, my personality is the same, I'm the same person, and it's really going to change that? So I think it's a great weeding out tool to see what kind of person they really are, and the person that's meant for you will love you no matter what. Like, I don't know, me personally, I want someone who's committed and who's going to be there for the long haul, like, if it does work out, So, I mean, years down the road, your spouse might get a disease. Are you going to dump them then? Are you going to divorce them because they get a disease later? No. Like, that's just ridiculous. So I think it's a great weeding out tool. And I know it's hard, especially if you're in the middle of that, and if you think that, your boyfriend won't love you anymore if you tell him or something, you haven't told him yet. Like, I think you just need to do it. Like, you're not going to be non-diabetic anytime soon, as far as I know, unless a cure is found tomorrow. So you just got to do it and see if they're a keeper or not. So, yeah. And obviously that's hard, but it's important. Oh, Jesus, it's time for water. Sorry, I'm trying to find where I left off. Okay, here we go. Kid Director 10 says, I just got diagnosed last month. Do you have an idea of how long it takes to get a pump in CGM? This depends on your doctor, your insurance, and I mean, I guess that's it. So when I was diagnosed, they like to wait at least a year before going on a pump after you're diagnosed. I don't know if that's changed. It probably has, because I've heard of people getting it after like 3 months. But you were just diagnosed last month, so I wouldn't really rush into it, because you really just want to get used to diabetes itself and like insulin doses, counting carbs. Like there's so much to learn. And so I think it's really valuable to take that time to really learn how diabetes works, how your body responds to insulins and foods and everything. And then once you get a handle on that, you can move on to like learning about the pump and learning about the CGM. So I did not get the pump for 3 years after I was diagnosed. I was on shots for 3 years. And then after going to diabetes camp a lot and seeing all the pumps and how much better it was, I was like, I want that. And so I went on the pump. And from the time I decided I wanted the pump to the time I got it, it was a long time. I don't remember, because so first I had to wait for my doctor appointment, where I asked if my doctor thought it was a good idea for me to get a pump. And then when he approved it and we started getting the process rolling with the pump company, then insurance had to approve it, and insurance really did not want to approve it because it's a lot of money, obviously, and they didn't think it was medically necessary because my blood sugars, I guess, were too good in their eyes, maybe. But then again, if they're too bad, they also won't give it to you because they're like, well, you have no control over your diabetes. Why would you give you this extra device? Like, I don't know, it's the weirdest thing. But we just kept trying, and we kept calling, and we kept bugging them until they approved it. So I want to say it was like more than 6 months, I think, before I got it. So it's a while. It's a process. But yeah, it takes a while. Anna Marshall says, when you go high, do you get mood swings? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes no. Also lows, same type of thing. I don't know, sometimes when you're high, especially really high, you just don't feel good. And anyone, when they don't feel good, is going to get a little bit grumpy. You know, they're going to get a little bit weird. And I think also I just don't necessarily always notice my mood swings. I think it's hard to notice them when it's you. So I think other people would probably be a better indicator of that, especially when I was younger. My brother has told me that when I was younger and, you know, first diagnosed, especially when you first diagnosed, because you're also dealing with this chronic illness diagnosis, which is a big deal, but also with blood sugar swings and, like, you know, growing through puberty and like all that stuff, he said I was very, very moody. So I think that's gone away as I've gotten older in some aspects, but I'm sure when I'm low or high, I do get a little bit out there. So it just happens. So yeah. Angie Guymon says, do you ever wake up and test yourself in the middle of the night? Yes, all the time. Whenever my alarm goes off for my Dexcom, which right now I have it set at, we usually have it set at 270 or 60, I will check. If I ever wake up, sometimes I will wake up, and then this is what I used to do before I had a Dexcom. If I ever woke up in the middle of the night randomly, I always checked, because usually it meant I was low or high, and if it didn't, then I checked. Like, great, another check in the books, you know? So yeah, and I used to get checked in the middle of the night, every night at 2 a.m. because my mom was worried about me, and I was, you know, growing. I was a young, growing girl. Blood sugars are crazy during that time of your life, and I was also playing basketball and all of that stuff. So numbers were very, very hard to control. And so my dad, like I said, worked the night shift. So when he would get home from work, he would come in and he would check my blood sugar for me, so I didn't have to actually fully wake up, you know, which was really helpful, so I didn't lose as much sleep. And they would just make sure my blood sugar was good, since I didn't have CGM back then. So I do end up getting up quite a few times in the night. The annoying nights are when I have to get up every freaking 2 hours because my blood sugar won't come down, or because I'm low all the time. Those are the worst. But most of the time, it's not so bad. And a lot of the time, I do sleep all the way through the night, which is my favorite. So yeah. Sorry, I'm still reading questions. No, I just ran out of water. Ah. There are so many questions this time. I'm trying to pick like the one I would definitely want to answer. Okay. I actually might go grab water. Well, will you guys wait if I go grab water? I'll be right back. Go, go, I'm right here. Go, go. I'm back. Okay. John Alt said, I'm currently on injections and I'm kind of scared to get a pump or CGM when the time comes because I'm scared of breaking them. How durable are pumps and CGMs? They are so durable. Oh my goodness. I dropped my pump on the floor a lot and I've never, ever, ever broken a pump from dropping it. I've had a pump for 8 or 9 years, 8 years, 9 years. And yeah, never dropped it, dropped it a lot. Never broken it from dropping it. So I've dropped it on tile, everything, and it hasn't breaking. I don't know why I can't speak English. Yeah, so this is very durable. The Dexcom, I don't drop a lot, surprisingly. No, I don't really. I drop it on carpet sometimes. But the button comes off. It's one thing I don't like. It's happened to me twice now where I just like, you press the button enough, eventually it falls off, and I didn't really like that. Luckily, it still works when the button falls off, but it's kind of like, that's lame. And that one's not waterproof, so I feel like the CGM may be a little bit less durable, but it's still good. Again, Beyond Dancer XO says, do you take offense to diabetes ignorant jokes? Offense. I don't just take offense because it's like, they don't really know, you know? Like, nobody's trying to hurt you, usually. I mean, in my case, nobody's like trying to be rude. It's more like they have no idea what's going on. So I more just get annoyed or get like, oh, really? But sometimes it just depends on the situation. Sometimes I'll just let it go and I'm just like, whatever. And I just let it roll off my back. Other times I'll be like, actually, that's not even true. Like, I try to explain to them what's actually true. So, yeah, anyway. So I usually don't take offense per se because it's not a personal attack, but I will try to correct them or I'll just be like, well, they're dumb in my head, not to them. So, yeah. William Parks is responding to the thing about how durable are pumps, and he says, I left my Omnipod PDM in a foot of snow for 2 hours accidentally, and it was just fine. I like how you said accidentally, as if you would have done that on purpose. That's really impressive, actually. Is the PDM waterproof? I actually don't know that. It must be if it was in a foot of snow for 2 hours. It didn't even give you a cold alarm. One time I left my blood sugar checker in my car, and it gave this alarm, and it was like, I tried to check and it said, oh, it's too cold. You can't, it's too cold. I was like, that's a thing. It can be too cold. So I had to like wait for it to warm up. Actually, I had an extra one. I used an extra one. But yeah. Anna Marshall says, what time do you eat your bedtime snack? I eat mine at 11. I don't have a scheduled bedtime snack anymore. I had that when I was on shots. I was on NPH and Humalog or Novolog. I think I had a snack for that. I might have had one for Lantus too, I'm not sure. I'll only eat a snack at bedtime if I'm hungry and I bolus for it, or if I am going low, I feel like I'm going to go low, then I won't bolus for it, but usually I do not. Tiffany C says, what are the easiest ways to lower your A1C? I consider my diabetes under control, yet my A1C stays between 7 and 8, except for when I was pregnant. For me, my A1C lowered a lot when I got a CGM. I have always really tried to take really good care of my blood sugar, but right before I got my CGM, my A1C was 7.4, I think. Yeah, 7.4. 3 months after I got my CGM, it went down to 6.9. So it dropped 0.5 in 3 months. So I think just being aware of your blood sugar really allows you to make changes and really allows you to get it under better control. So if you can't get a CGM for any reason, just checking your blood sugar more will help you get better control, and making changes for that when you can. So, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. There's new questions popping up. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, and then another really good way is getting your blood sugars under control in the middle of the night. Because when you think about it, the middle of the night is like hopefully 8 hours of your day, and if you're in range for 8 solid hours straight, like how awesome is that going to be on your A1C? So I try to really get those really good. It's easier with a Dexcom because you can see in the middle of the night. Like I love when I wake up and my blood sugar all night was like around 100, and I'm just like, yes, that was the best. And it's like flat, which does not happen a lot in nursing school with the stress and the crazy, but when it does happen, it's awesome. So those nighttime ones are awesome. So those are just like a couple little tips. William Parks said the PDM for the Omnipod isn't waterproof, but the actual insulin pump is. I guess that's interesting that it was just fine after 2 hours. I guess it was fully ice, did not melt at all. Okay, Samantha Colby says, have you heard of the One Touch Vario Sync meter, and is it a good meter? I've heard of the One Touch Vario IQ. I don't know what the One Touch Vario Sync is. Let me Google it. Google's my friend. I like Google. Sometimes you guys ask me questions, not this question, I'm not saying that one, but sometimes you ask me questions that I'm like, you could easily Google that. That would be easy. So I usually Google it for you and I answer the question. But this obviously I can't Google if it's good, but I just want to see what it is. Vario Sync platform ups and down. It's loading. It's loading. I've heard. Oh, it's a video. I don't want to watch the video. Need the new One Touch Vario Sync.
Now you can check your blood sugar results as easily as you check everything else.
Can you guys hear it?
With your iPhone.
Oh, it goes to your
One Touch
iPhone.
Vario Sync is the first meter to automatically send your blood sugar results wirelessly to your iPhone using the free One Touch Reveal mobile app,
That's pretty cool.
where it's easy to see at a glance how you've been doing and share your results with the tap of the screen. Just like that. And the best part? All you have to do is test with the One Touch Vario Sync meter, which is quite simple, even in the dark. It uses One Touch Vario test strips,
Has
which
a
have
light
the lowest copay
shines
on
in
the
the
most
test
healthy plans, and are always covered by Medicare. Your blood sugar results, your iPhone, together at last with One Touch Vario Sync. Right now, the One Touch Vario Sync meter is just $29.99 at shop1touch.com. Buy the One Touch Vario Sync meter now at shop1touch.com.
I have now heard of it. No, I think I've seen a picture of it before. Maybe. I've wanted to get for a long time the One Touch Vario IQ meter, which was I think the one before this, but I didn't because my Animus Ping has a meter remote that I use, but I was like, once I get the Vibe, I won't have that meter remote, and guess what I'm going to get? One Touch Vario IQ, and Animus is actually sending me one with my pump, the One Touch Vario IQ, so I'm really excited about that. So this one looks cool because it goes straight to your iPhone. I do not have a smartphone, I have a dumb phone, and so, I mean, for me, it's not super helpful, unless it can go to my iPod Touch, but I don't know. I really want an iPhone though, and I'm like working on getting one. I get an upgrade in July, so we'll see if that happens, because I'm not willing to pay $700 for a phone, because that's ridiculous. But anyway, if you have an iPhone, like, that sounds awesome. Looks like a great meter. I love that the One Touch Varios shine a light on the test strip, because I test in the middle of the night so many times, and I usually end up having my iPod, like, the light on and, like, shining on it, but also squeezing my finger and, like, trying to do everything while holding a light. And it's really annoying, so that would be really helpful for me. Yeah, it looks nice. Let's go on some more questions. Jennifer Quillen says, you were pregnant? No, not me. I was reading somebody's question, and they said their A1C stays between 7 and 8, except for when they were pregnant. I was just reading their words. They said I was pregnant. I wasn't pregnant. Nope, I'm not. Martin Lorca says, have you ever thought about being part of a clinical trial? I have. I've like not actually tried to be in one, but I thought about like would I want to be in one. And I think for some things I would, like if it was really low risk. But in some ways I'm like, I'd rather wait till it's established, till I know that it's gonna work, you know? Like especially obviously right now I would never because I am so freaking busy. I have zero time to do that. That's actually why I'm doing the live stream because I don't think I'll have a lot of time to make an actual video. Actual videos you have to set up and record and edit and upload, and it takes a long time, but live stream is like hour and a half flat. So anyway, I don't really have time to be in one now, but I think depending on the study, like I think it'd be really cool to study, to be in a trial for the artificial pancreas, just because I think it'd be so nice to be like not in control of my diabetes, not in control, but not having to do the things to control my diabetes for like a whole day or a whole 2 days or however long it might be. And although I know it won't be perfect, like I've heard that they do work pretty dang well. So, I mean, even if it's just close to in range most of the time, like that's the best I do some days. So I think it'd be cool. But then again, like just kind of depends. But anyway, I thought about it. Meals Curly says, is having a lot of equipment like the Dexcom and pump a lot because I'm getting the Dex Wednesday. Congratulations on the Dexcom. Initially, I didn't want the Dexcom because I didn't want a separate device. I was going to wait for the Vibe, and then I was like, you know what? I can't wait anymore. I'm just going to get it. So I got it, and I mean, it is 2 things to carry, which is can get annoying, but you definitely get used to it. Like I've had the Dexcom for how long now? I don't even know. I don't even know how long I've had it. Over a year, I think. It has to be over a year. I don't know. A while. And I'm just used to it. But I am definitely looking forward to the Animus Vibe when they will be in the same thing. Because I just don't want to carry something else, you know? Like, it's just annoying. So I think that'll be better. But you definitely, it's doable, for sure. And it's definitely worth it, for sure. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, Kid Director 10 says, felt like sharing this. I went to Disneyland recently and got low blood sugar right before getting on a ride. The cast members were super nice and gave me a fast pass to use with any ride afterwards. I am so jealous. How can I get one of those? I tried. The first time I went to Disney after I got diabetes, I went to customer service and I tried to get a pass so I wouldn't have to wait in line because I'm like, oh, waiting in lines in the hot sun can lower my blood sugar. And for some reason it didn't work. I don't remember why. But I heard that you could do that. But that sounds like since they actually saw you get a low blood sugar, they're like, oh, like you shouldn't wait in line. Here's a fast pass. So maybe I'll try again someday, but that's pretty awesome. I did get one of those type of things when I went to Six Flags because they had this new rule where you couldn't bring a bag with you ever. And so I had to get a sticker for my bag being like, yes, this is a medical bag. I have to have it with me. And then on top of that, I was like, can I also skip lines because it's really hot today and have my insulin in my bag and the insulin will go bad. And they're like, yeah, okay, fine. So no, they didn't say it like that, but I got one for that. So that was really cool. I like it. Stephanie Rogers says, I'm doing nursing this year. Yay, get ready for a whirlwind. Oh my goodness, nursing school is hard. You'll love it though. I'm not trying to freak you out. I'm just saying it's hard, but I'm in an accelerated program, so I think that's part of it. I just don't have as much time to learn everything and to do everything. Yeah, it's really hard, but worth it. It's really awesome how much you learn in such a short amount of time, and you're just like I know so much more than I did before, and I just started in pediatrics last week, and I just love it, and it's really cool, so yeah. Corey Webb says, I run cross country, and after I run, my BG is always 40 or below. Do you have any suggestions? If you're on a pump, I would set a temp basal. When I run, do -70 or -80%. Or you can drink Gatorade or like juice beforehand. You can drink Gatorade or juice during, eat glucose tabs, all that good stuff. Antioch Soprano, I remember your name. You've been a viewer for a while. Said, did you download the new software update on your Dexcom? So if you don't know, Dexcom came out with a upgrade and it's supposed to be more accurate for your receiver, but they only did it on PCs, and I have a Mac now that I use consistently. I do have my old PC, but I don't use it very much, and so I just haven't done it. And I was also kind of waiting. I wanted to like feel it out and see what other people thought. And the first person I heard from said it wasn't it wasn't better. It was actually worse. But then I think that was just because they didn't time it right with something. Something was off. But I've heard other people say it is better. So I was just kind of waiting to see if it was better. And now it's like I'm getting the vibe anyway, so I might as well just not, I guess. I haven't revisited it, but I definitely could, I think, on my old laptop. Possibly. Has it been working? I don't know. Did you do it? Does it work better? Jack Connolly says, I just got the Dexcom 2 days, and I use it now with my T-Slim. But since I'm under 18 and my insurance just changed, when do you think the Animus Vibe will be approved for pediatrics? I don't know. I think a lot of the time people get things approved for adults only just because it's easier. Like for a long time, Dexcom, I think, was only approved for adults. And it's just, like, I think the FDA is just more stringent on kids, and as they should be, you know. Kids are greatly affected by little changes in doses and little changes in anything medical, so they want to make sure it's safe for kids. So I think they do it for only adults just to get it approved, and then I think after that, they work on pediatrics. So I would guess it wouldn't be crazy long, but with the FDA, you just never know. But I do know, I'm pretty sure doctors can prescribe off-label though. So like, even though it wasn't approved for pediatrics, the Dexcom wasn't, doctors could still choose to prescribe it to a kid. So I would guess you could do that for the pump too, but I don't really know. So yes. All right, I think I'm only gonna do a couple more questions because it's already been like way over an hour and I'm getting a little bit tired. Plus I keep saying Alexa Marie Linnell says, do you have any tips for flying with a pump? I did a whole video on this if you want to check it out. It's called Travel and Diabetes, I think. Something like that. But I'll just quickly go through it. Basically what I do is I put all my diabetes supplies in my carry-on so that if anything happens with my luggage, like it gets lost or anything, I'll definitely have it with me, including insulin. And I take off my pump and my CGM and I put them in my hand before I go through any machines. When I'm at the place where you put everything in the bins, and I look at a person on the other side of the bin thing who works there, obviously, and I'm like, hi, I have 2 medical devices that can't go through the machines. Can you do a separate inspection of these? And so they'll take it and they put it in this little, it's like a little circular dish thing. And I will sometimes explain like this is an insulin pump and a continuous glucose monitor for diabetes. And they take them in the back and they wipe the pump and they wipe the CGM with this, like, it tests for explosive material, I think. And then sometimes they'll also wipe your hands after you get through the metal detector and everything to see if your hands have stuff on it. And yeah, and then so then I can walk through, because even with this Dexcom thing on my arm, this can go through the machine. So I'll go through the little scanner thing and my bags will go through without my pump and CGM. And on the other side, I just get all my stuff and they're like, okay, it's good. And then I go. So that's all I really do. And then, yeah, while on the plane, I just manage it, look at my blood sugars, make sure I have snacks with me. That's the meat of it, that's most of it. Scott Turley says, I am finally getting a pump as soon as Animus ships the Vibe. It took me about 8 years to finally decide I want something always attached to me. Was it a big adjustment to switch over to the pump? I would guess that that's the biggest thing that holds people back from getting a pump, is having something attached to you all the time. But you literally, like, I'm not lying. You literally, not that I lie other times. I don't know why I said that. That makes it sound like I was lying this whole time. But I just mean, like, you might not believe me, but you definitely 100% get used to it. Like, you get so used to it that when you're not wearing it for some reason, like, say you just got out of the shower, it'll be weird. Like, you'll reach down for it and be like, where is it? You know, like, it's supposed to be there type of thing. So just like if you have anything in your pocket, you have a wallet in your pocket, you have a phone in your pocket, you forget it's there usually. You're not constantly focused on the fact that, oh, my phone is in my pocket, like, you know? So it's the same type of thing with the pump. The pump is in your pocket, you forget about it. The set does not hurt all the time. Like, it might hurt, it might not when it goes in. But once the needle's out, usually it's fine. Unless you picked a bad spot, you might have to change it again. But most of the time, you don't even feel it. And so you're just going to forget that it's there. And it's awesome. You just have to make sure your tubing is, you know, tucked into your pants so you don't snag it on anything. But other than that, you're good to go. Like, don't even worry. It's not as bad as you think it's going to be. But it was definitely still an adjustment just because, especially at first, like, getting dressed was like a thing I had to figure out. I was like, where do I put this? Like, should I unclip it? And so I ended up just, I think I just hold it usually. I think I just hold it in the opposite hand, or I like tuck it in somewhere. I'll like put it under my arm, or I'll like set it on a bed or a counter. You just work around it. If you're putting sets in your leg or your butt and you like pull down your pants to go to the bathroom, you might pull a couple sets out that way. I definitely did that before I got used to it, but now I always am very careful. So it's just stuff like that you just adjust to and get used to. And I think the hardest thing to get used to would probably be set changes, because at first these take me a long time, and I used to have my mom do the insulin and I would do the set, and it's this whole process. But now it's so quick. I do it really fast. So I feel like the easiest part to adjust to is bolusing, because it's like whenever I eat, I can just push buttons, woohoo! And some people go a little bit crazy and do that too much. But yeah, it's definitely worth it, I think. Oh, Antioch Sopranos talking about the Dexcom download. Sorry, I didn't even explain what that was. Basically, Dexcom came out with new software, and if you have a PC, you can download the software, and it's supposed to be more accurate. So Antioch Soprano says, we just did the download, and it's been almost a week. So far, it's been very, excuse me, that water's coming. I have little burps there. So far, it's been very accurate, I think more than before. I think I read that the upgrade is the same as the tech in the artificial pancreas. That's cool. It's been accurate. It's hard to tell, right, if it's more accurate than before. Unless you have two going at once, it's hard to tell. So Jennifer Quillen said, ever think about doing a meet and greet at a diabetes expo? I have thought about doing meet and greets in general. I almost did one when I was in England, but the tricky part is, like, it has to be, like, safe, obviously, because meeting strangers on the internet is not like a safe thing in general. So I want to make sure I have enough people that I know with me, that it's in a very public area, that people have enough time to see if they can make it there, and that enough people can make it there to make it worth it. So I almost did it in England, but the timing didn't work out. So I'm thinking I might have time. This is very tentative, but I was thinking maybe I'm going to be in New York in July, and I was thinking New York is kind of a nice place to have a meetup, so I was gonna maybe do that. And a lot of the diabetes events that I go to, I end up going to alone, just right now at least, because recently I've had them paid for by companies and stuff like that, and so I end up going by myself, and I can't do a meetup by myself. So once I have some family members with me, or close friends, then I can do one. But yeah, I'm definitely wanting to do one eventually, but the timing just hasn't been right. And like, I would hate to do a meetup and have like 2 people come, you know. So I definitely want to make sure it's in a place where a lot of people are there. New York is a very concentrated area where a lot of people might be there. So yeah. Samantha Colby, back to flying, was saying, a girl in my support group was forced to go through one of those metal detector things with her pump. They would not let her take it off. Do you ever have that problem when you travel? Basically, the TSA reps always try to tell me that it's fine to go through the thing. Not always, but a lot of people have told me it's fine. And that might be the case because they've changed the machines, they don't really, well, they do the metal detector too usually, but they have that thing where you do this and it like sends out sound waves, I think, or some type of wave. And last time the guy was telling me like it's literally just bouncing off things. So it'll just bounce off your pump, just like anything. And so that might be true, but I usually just tell them, okay, but I was told like it shouldn't go through the machines. I usually say like, just in case, I'd rather not risk it. Like if this malfunctions, it'll be really bad for me. Like, can we just do a separate inspection? Because it's really not hard to do a separate inspection. Like, yeah, it's an extra thing they have to do, but it takes like 15 seconds. So you can do this just for my peace of mind, like, you know? So a lot of times people will say like, oh, it can go through, but I would hate for it to go through and break. So I usually just assert myself and be like, I would really prefer that it not. So just in case. So yeah, because I'm pretty sure, I know some things it can and some things it can't, but I'm not 100% on which things, and so I'd rather just flat out not have it go through. But I've never been forced, you know? Never been forced. It's Joe's, though, says, I've been a fan of Danica's for like 2 to 3 years now. I love you, Danica, heart. That is so nice. It's Joe, though. I love you, too. That's a long time. I've had my YouTube channel now for like, how long have I had it now? I think like 4 years. Maybe not. A while now, and I'm so excited about how much it's growing. It's so awesome. I just hit 8,000 subscribers, if you guys didn't know. I announced it on Facebook and Twitter, but I guess I didn't make a video, so yay, 8,000, that's so many. I remember being so excited about like 13. I literally remember the day I hit 13 subscribers because it was the day of a Taylor Swift concert, and Taylor Swift's favorite number is 13, so I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah. So it's definitely grown a lot, Let's see. What else? Oh, I did read earlier, I'm not going to find the comment, but the person who was going low after every cross-country thing said that when she does have carbs beforehand, maybe I will find the comment because now I can't remember the exact things. Give me a second here. Give me a second here. Oh wait, that's the first question. Corey Webb. Oh, I think it's he. Sorry, your picture's really small. Maybe she. No, Corey's like a boy. I don't know, whatever. This person said a temp basal never worked. When I drink juice or Gatorade before, I will spike after. Ugh, stupid diabetes. If you're spiking from juice or Gatorade, like, try less. I mean, I know that's an obvious thing to say, but have you tried just drinking like half the amount that you drank and seeing if you spike? Like, I don't know. I would just try a bunch of things, like different amounts. If the temp basal is not working, maybe do more temp basal, like less and less insulin. Just keep fine-tuning it to see if that helps at all. So, yeah. Okay, so I am going to wrap it up, although y'all are still commenting so much, and it makes me not want to do it. But it is getting to be about that time. So thank you guys so much for coming. I'm sorry if I didn't get to answer your question, but thank you for all the awesome questions. Back when I first did my first live stream, it was like a struggle to get out questions. So I'm very happy that you guys have so many questions and that it worked so well and that a lot of you came. A lot of Johns came too. But yeah, so thank you so much. If you want me to do more of these, please tell me in the comments and I will try to do more, especially if nursing school is really crazy. I might do a couple of these in lieu of an actual video. So thank you so much for the interaction. I wish I could hear you guys asking questions though. It's kind of weird to just like talk at a computer, but I really do enjoy them anyway. So thank you guys for coming. Have a good night. Let me figure out how to end this. I'm actually on the YouTube page so I can see your questions. So now I'm going to go to the Google Plus part where I can end the stream, and it's not working. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm really going to go now. Thanks, guys. Bye.